previously I've talked to you about these elements of high performance, right? I said, look, you've got to have purpose in your life. You've got to have your physiology, or you got to have your physiology and your psychology figured out so it supports you and helps you achieve higher levels of performance each day. We talked about productivity and getting things done. We talked about the ability to persuade and influence other people so they can support you on your journey. So those are the elements of high performance. And in this video, I want to focus on these bottom two, psychology and physiology. I want to give you just one simple distinction today in each of these areas that hopefully will support you and make your life even better. And then you'll come to High Performance Academy, you'll learn the rest. Let's talk about psychology. Psychology, there's a lot of different ways to sort of slice this brain of ours, right? We've got this mindset that can either support us or not. And in the past couple of years, there's been this popular conception that, all you have to do with your psychology is master your intention, right? That's what The Secret was all about. The Secret was the law of attraction, the ability to use your mind and your thoughts to create good intentions, and those good intentions will hopefully bring all sorts of good things back to us in our life. And intention is very important, right? Because it's sort of sending waves out in the universe was the argument of The Secret, and those waves will attract good things back to us. That's good, but there's more than intention. In psychology, when people jump to this conversation about intention, they're missing a few rungs of the ladder here. Right? It's not just about, intention is very important. What you intend to do and the thoughts that you're putting out into the world through your intentions, those are very important, but those don't drive people's ability to succeed in life. They don't drive people's ability to master their mind because there's more going on there. So let's walk through a typical example of how you use your mind and your psychology that ultimately impacts your life. And again, like I said, there's so much more that we could take on, but this is a short video. I'm going to give you one idea that will hopefully support you. Before intention, there's a few things that happen. Before you set an intention or you set your mind to do anything, there's a few things that happen. And let me walk it through like a real-life example of how your mind kind of works and what you do with it. First and foremost, before intention is ever set, there's information. And this information is going to direct your mind in some way or another. Right? For example, if you're sitting around all day and you're watching Jerry Springer on television, that's a certain kind of information that's coming into your brain, influencing your thoughts, your beliefs, and your values, and then ultimately you're going to have different intentions and you're going to act differently in the world. Then, let's say if you're reading Success magazine, or the information coming in your life is from mentors who are changing your life and giving you great perspective about how to succeed. The information that comes in dramatically influences our intentions and our thoughts. True? So what information is coming into your life right now? Then the next thing that happens, once we get some information that comes into our mind, there's something that goes on in our mind where we take that information and we decide what it means. There's interpretation, right? Take any two people on a block and the information that comes in, they're standing on either side of the block, they're standing from pretty much the same vantage point, and they see a car accident. Isn't it true that later on those two people report very different things? It's because the same information was coming on, right? Car A hit car B, that's what happened. But their mind interprets it different. Or any conversation, right? You might have heard the same thing from somebody else, information came in, but you interpreted it in a different way, and you said, well, gosh, she was being mean right there. And someone else said, no, she was kidding. And the way in which you interpret information directly impacts your ability to succeed in life. And part of getting to high performance is understanding how your mind is taking in information and assimilating it and attaching meaning to it. And that's what interpretation is. It's like an event happens, is it good or is it bad? And how you label something in your mind directly impacts your beliefs about it and your ability to perform in the future because you decide whether or not that's good or that's bad. Literally, the way that you label information, your interpretation of it, will direct the ultimate outcome of your life. Because if something happens and you label something, let's say something doesn't go right, and you label it, you go, oh my gosh, that was a failure, then you're less likely to ever try it again because you just labeled it as a failure. So the way in which you interpret things has a dramatic outcome on your psychology, but also in your performance in life. Next down is not only do you say, was that good or that bad, not only do you label it in that way, you also self-label. And in self-labeling, you now say, not only was this good or bad, you say, is this good or bad for me? And you attach a label to yourself. And so information comes in, and you have to think about this. Happens every single day for people. In dramatic cases, in less dramatic cases. I had a car accident. That was information. I interpreted that as a second chance at life. And I took that as my job now as a person is to live so fully alive and so lovingly and so openly and so focused on making a difference in life that I'll inspire other people to start their own second life. But I've met other people who had a dramatic car accident, even more dramatic than mine, but they attached no meaning to it whatsoever. It meant nothing to them and who they are as a person. So nothing ever changed in their life. Same thing can happen to somebody, but the way in which your psychology goes through it ultimately impacts how you feel about it and how you feel about yourself. So information comes in, you interpret it, you think about what does this mean to me, and then you start forming intentions. Oh, okay, based on all that, here's what I want. And you start forming your thoughts and your ideas and your beliefs around this certain thing. Think about this in dramatic cases. Think about this in dramatic cases of not just a car accident. Think about this in any case in which your life you're trying to figure out something. You might go back. If you ever have any beliefs and you're like, I don't know why I believe that. Go back and say, what information led me to believe that? How did I interpret that information? What did I say that means about me? Because your beliefs now were impacted by all of that. Now let's move on, because there's more than just intention, and people know this who watch The Secret. They thought, okay, well, what happens after intention? Well, after intention, you decide to take some initiative. Right? There's initiative. You say, okay, so these are my beliefs, and based on my beliefs, I'm going to act like this. That's initiative. Based on my ideas, I'm going to act like this. So your psychology doesn't just stop in your brain. It activates in the world through your behaviors, right? Your beliefs lead to behaviors. Your behaviors lead to beliefs. It's like this perpetuating loop between beliefs and behaviors. Where do your beliefs come from? They come from your information, the way you've interpreted information, the way you've identified it, the intentions that you set. And then ultimately you go out there and you practice it in the world. And this initiative happens, right? This initiative happens where you start going out and you start doing things. And based on your level of success here, it feeds right back. All of this is sort of a self-perpetuating loop. And so your psychology is driven a lot by the initiative that you've taken in your life. And whether or not you feel that it worked and you succeeded at it, and whether or not you want to do it again. Intention is incredibly powerful, but you got to understand right after intention, you've got to take action. That's the reason most people didn't like The Secret. You read this book about the secrets of succeeding in life, and never in the entire book does it say hard work. Right? There's nothing in there about taking massive action. And the only way to really get high performance in your life is to take massive and focused action. The more action you take, the more success you're going to receive. As long as you keep going and you're doing things that are intelligent, you've got to take lots of initiative. So what's this last piece? This last piece is sort of hard to figure out for most people. They get stuck in thinking that initiative is it, and then it loops back here. But there's something that's more important. And again, it's bringing that social world into your life. That social world in which your ability to influence others has a dramatic impact on your psychology. Because guess what? If you're going out and you're making all sorts of stuff happen, right? You're taking in information, everything's great, you're taking initiative. Well, influence, your ability to influence an outcome, your ability to influence another person dramatically affects your psychology. Right? Imagine, think back to high school, that group that you couldn't influence, and you were just so frustrated because you couldn't influence them. Didn't that affect your psychology, how you felt about yourself? How much more likely you were to think about good things and go out and try things? Right? There's a social piece to your psychology, and everyone always thinks that it's just emotional intelligence. Psychology is not about emotional intelligence, it's about emotional and social intelligence. And if you don't think about your ability to influence other people, then you're never going to become a high performer, as we talked about at the very beginning. Becoming a high performer is mastering all of these pieces, because all these pieces lead to your psychology. And again, this is just one idea that we'd cover at like High Performance Academy. There's a lot more to help you get the finer distinctions of how you use your psychology. Anything that's happened in your life, you can go back and run through this, and it'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it? How you attached meaning each of the ways. You know, along the way, how did you attach meaning? Because the way that you attached meaning to all this is ultimately impacting your psychology and how you feel about your life. So I hope that's helpful for you in thinking through it. I know it's a little heavy and deep, but that's what we do at High Performance Academy. We've got to get you to the level where you really examine what's going on in your life and where you want to go in life and set it up so that you can be productive and persuasive, but so you can set your psychology up and your physiology up to support you. So let's talk about that piece real quick. Physiology. How do you cultivate energy in your body in a way that it sustains you throughout the entire day to have as much energy and desire and hope and just drive throughout the day? How do you do that? Well, most people will say, get on this diet, drink that. There's lots of things that we could talk about in this video, but I just want to give you one simple mental game. Since we've been talking about psychology, I want to combine psychology and physiology because none of these pieces live separately, right? When you talk about psychology, physiology, productivity, persuasion, purpose, the things that make high performance, none of them live in a little bubble. I draw them in a box for you so that it's helpful. When we talk about the elements of high performance, none of these live separately. I draw it in a box so it's visual for you, but none of them live separately. So I've talked a little about psychology. What about physiology? Let me give you a psychological tool to improve your physiology. Throughout the day, from now on, I want you to ask yourselves probably 10 times a day minimum, just constantly kind of running it in the back of your mind, this question. And this question is, what level am I right now in terms of vibrancy and presence? That's all I want you to ask. What level am I right now in terms of vibrancy and presence in my body? That's the question. What level am I right now in terms of vibrancy and presence in my body? And what's amazing is when you ask that, and when I say level, you might think about it in terms of level of 1 to 10. Level 1 feeling dead and tired and heavy, 10 feeling light and fast and swift and speedy and just alive and alert. 1 or 10, what level are you? I'll be standing in a Starbucks, right? And I usually get like a green tea there. None of the fancy sugar stuff or the stuff that just weighs you down or blows your brain with caffeine. And I'll be sitting there and I'll be standing in line and watching people and they're like, they look like they're dead. And they're just hoping for that fix. And I say, you know what? What level am I right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, what level of vibrancy and presence is in my body? And it'll make me move my body, make me stand up a little straighter, make me breathe a little bit more full. And something magical starts happening when you focus on what level of energy do you have throughout the day. And you know what? When your mind starts going, you know what? You constantly feel tired. Your brain will guilt you into getting off your butt. Your brain will say, you know what? I need to exercise more because if I don't, I'm going to be tired all the time. If I'm tired all the time, I can't achieve my dreams. So it's simple, but throughout the day, what level am I in terms of the vibrancy and presence in my body? I do this backstage. Before I go on in front of a stadium of 30,000 people or a room full of 10 people, I'll go, what level am I right now? And it sort of, my brain activates my body to make presence and energy in my body. Because it's true, you can will some of this stuff. At High Performance Academy, we're going to teach you what do you need to do in a more physical form to make sure you have energy throughout the day. But I just want to give you a psychological tool and technique several times throughout the day. What level am I in terms of vibrancy and presence in my body right now? What level am I? Ask that, because when your brain says you're level 6, your brain will say, hey man, stand up, breathe a little more fuller, activate your body, move around a little bit, and that will support you on your journey to high performance. I hope this video helped. This is about you getting to higher levels of achievement. Life can taste better and feel better and be more when you get to the higher levels of performance. I want to help you on that journey. Until I see you again, go out there, live fully, love openly, and make a difference today.